My first question, so before we had a conversation where we spoke about your use of flowers in everyday life. So jumping off that, I wanted to ask what cultural traditions and practices have you encountered that involve the use of flowers?
So I mainly use flowers in my spiritual practices. So I'm Puerto Rican. I practice espiritismo, which is like our connection to our ancestors, and I guess bringing them offerings so we can keep connected even in the afterlife. So I mainly use flowers to offer them. I guess kind of like you would offer flowers to a gravestone. It's like that same connection. Yeah.
What does this altar mean to you?
So this altar is like a connection with my family, my past, kind of bringing all of the people I know together. It's a spiritual thing for me to kind of hold dear the people that I've lost, and acknowledge that they're kind of leading me through my life and looking out for me. So it's kind of like thanking them for that and thanking them for being with me throughout my life.
So this altar, it includes flowers, and then what other things are incorporated?
Flowers, candles, beverages. So depending on who you're talking to or who you have a special connection with, you can put alcohol, coffee, other things. So it's like you're having a conversation like they're still here.
Do specific flowers that you use hold different meanings, and where or who did you learn about this practice from?
So I learned about this practice from my family. I think I was about 9 when we started really doing it more prevalent, or maybe that's just when I noticed, like my brain caught up with it. But it's mainly like I remember a lot of white flowers, white roses, daisies, and there's candles all on like a shelf for a white tablecloth. We have like glasses of water. There are 7 of them and one big one in the middle. We often put like a crucifix on top just for like the religious tie, so we know you're talking to like heaven and earth connections. And then you have pictures of your ancestors, like family tree pictures, things like that, funeral cards.
You name like mostly white flowers. Are there any other flowers that you use, or like that are different color? What do those stand for?
Any flowers really do. If you find a bouquet and you want to pick it up, that's fine. I think white flowers hold a religious and more spiritual connection based on African traditions. White is used in like funeral processions. It's kind of, I guess, like a crossing over color that's a celebratory color. So because we're talking about people that have passed, dead people, it's like a funerary heavenly type color, but any color works. Red roses, yellow flowers, blue flowers.
Would you say that the flowers that you use in these altars have shifted your perspective of them? Like if you were to see them, for example, like growing in Central Park, or if you come across them in a store, does your mind go to that altar, or do you have any association with those flowers because of this practice?
I think flowers became more conscious in my life because of the altar. I don't remember having flowers like a lot in my house, or plants really at all as a kid, until that practice became more serious and more prevalent in my house. I think when I pass flowers in the supermarket, that's where my mind goes to first, because I'm not the type of person to just put like flowers on a dining room table. I more think about like, oh, this would look cute for my ancestors. This would be like really beautiful in this like setup that I have, because I set it up, I guess, meticulously. I would say like it progressed over time with different trinkets and things that I put in there. So it just kind of like completes the setup.
So, do you feel that using flowers in this practice has connected you more with nature or pulled you away from it?
That's a good question. I think about plants and plant life more because of this practice. Um, like they've become more a part of my everyday than before. Um, I don't think that I'm like looking into meanings of flowers or where they come from or things like that, which I should probably. But I think more about like plants and growing things in my house and having greenery and like living, breathing elements in my house.
A follow-up question on that. Do you feel that you have agency over the flowers after you purchase them? Or do you feel that you are more of an observer, like you take more of an observer role?
Agency, like how?
So what I was thinking with this question is the idea that you're using the flowers as a part of an altar, and also like it could be in your everyday life, acting as like a centerpiece almost. Like it can be just aesthetic appeal, or like it could be seen as like an object, as like a part of a whole kind of. So I was wondering if you see it that way, or do you feel it's another object in your space, or do you feel like you're observing it and like you acknowledge that it's like a living thing as like in the altar or in your house?
That's a really interesting question. I think I do acknowledge it as a living thing because, I mean, example, if I didn't, I would just buy like plastic flowers from the Dollar Tree and just it dressed up the space. I think the fact that it's a real flower and it has been connected to the earth, and it's, I guess it's beautification, but it's also a connection to this plane is very important. Like I would never put a plastic flower on my altar, like ever. So I think about like how I'm cutting the stems when I put them in the vase, or if the water is clean and things like that, because it is a living thing. So, yeah.
Have you always seen it that way, or did someone teach you how to do it? Like when you talk about like the cutting the flowers specifically, and
I think that it mostly came from like the internet. Like I heard you should cut rose stems at like 45 degrees. So because of that, I became more conscious about like how to place flowers in vases, or like I guess how to take care of the water, changing things out, making them last longer, because it's not there. I guess life is temporary, right? You're looking at the flowers and you're seeing how long they've been there, what they look like, if they're wilting, because they're such an ever-changing thing in the space. So I think I've learned that as I've interacted with flowers over the years.
And the last thing I mean, you mentioned this like plastic, that you would never have like the plastic plants. I mean, behind us, those are plastic. Those are all plastic plants. Why would you not have plastic plants? Because some people find happiness from having plastic plants, but why do you think that you don't gravitate towards that?
I think it's without a better word, like I don't have another word, but I guess cheap. It's like wanting nature but separating yourself from it. Like what's the point of having leaves around you if they're not real? It kind of like breaks the whole meaning of having greenery around you. It's plastic. It's inherently like the thing that's killing the environment. It's emulating the environment. Like it doesn't make sense. And I think as a person, like me in my existence, if like someone gave me a gift of plastic flowers, it wouldn't mean as much to me as like you picking a real flower that came from nature. And I think that's just a human thing. Like if it doesn't mean that much to you, yeah, go buy a plastic flower. But it means more to me, I guess, when it comes from like a real place. It's a living thing. It's something that you thought of to like beautify a space, or that you were thinking of me with this, this live living thing.